Welcome back to another episode of Hello Redlow. I'm your host, Terry Mullen, and I'm so happy you're here. Today we talk about transitions and stepping forward in life and through those different seasons of life when things change. So sit back and listen in. Jack Canfield, author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, says change is inevitable in life. You can either resist it or potentially get run over by it. Or you can choose to cooperate with it, adapt to it, and learn how to benefit from it. When you embrace change, you will begin to see it as an opportunity for growth. I just love that. What transition and change are you experiencing? What are you stepping away from? What have you learned? And what are you stepping into? Once again, I'm at a place of experiencing a lot of transitions in my own life. I'm feeling all the feels this week. My mind is full of emotion, and my thoughts are kind of all over the place as I prepare to go to my son's wedding. Yes, our oldest son is getting married, and he is the first of our children to get married. I could not be more proud of who he is and who he has chosen. I'm proud of who they are, individually and collectively, because they bring out the best in one another, and that is all that I could ask. As for me, my role as a mom has changed. Now, it is just about being there, advising when asked, kind of coaching from the sidelines. It is listening far more than talking, answering the phone when they call, and often just chatting about whatever, and then just hearing their voice on the other side of the phone. My daughter will also be getting married next year, and that is another milestone for me, a mother of the bride. Similar, I'm advising, loving, encouraging, and helping her as she steps forward with her life and makes very pivotal decisions. And then my youngest is entering his senior year of college. He will be graduating this spring. Wow, another huge milestone in his life and mine. One chapter closes as a whole other one opens up. I have watched my son grow and navigate a study abroad program this past spring and do an internship in New York this summer. He's growing, discovering who he is more and more, and again, I'm just there to be supportive, guide, and encourage him. So I've thought a lot about it all, where I've been these past few years, where I was a few years ago, and where I am now. I've thought about those moments when I questioned and asked myself, what was next? Who am I? As my youngest son was entering high school. What would I do now as all 4 kids were grown and on their own, and the house would suddenly be quiet? I look back at all I've done in my life, the different shoes I've worn. But mostly now I reflect and think of the curiosities that I followed and the path of discovery that led me right here to this podcast and writing. Yes, I've thought a lot about why I started the podcast and why I decided to write my book, Step Forward, which will be available for you all next month, and I can't wait for you to read it. But I wrote it to help women step forward with their life through midlife transitions, overcoming hard things, and rediscovering who they are now. I share stories about the good and difficult parts of my own life, along with tools and tips I used to step forward and rediscover my passion and my dreams. I share how to take that courageous action with whatever it is that you want to do with your one wild and precious life. And I started this podcast to offer hope and to help midlife women, not only with my own stories, but to create a community and share stories of other women who have gone through hard things and how they share the stories of the courageous action they took to overcome those hard things. I believe we all have a story inside of us, and we can learn so much from one another. Experience really is priceless. Yes, we are all evolving, moving from one season of life to another. We start, we step forward, we sidestep, and sometimes we take a few steps back, but we continue to move forward and move through our life. Serena Williams has recently spoken about her retirement these past few weeks. I love her openness and honesty about the process. She talks about the emotions that not many have spoken about. She openly says how hard it is to step down from tennis. Something that she has loved has been all she ever has been, and retirement is not a word she likes. I get it. Although I am not one of the greatest tennis players of all time, I certainly understand what it means to retire from all that you've known. Tennis for her has been her identity, her life, her training, her focus, her income. And yes, it's scary. Even for a top-ranked athlete, this new transition and new season of life is scary. She is stepping into an unknown, a new season of life and making a transition. And every time she thinks about it, she starts to cry. Imagine that. She's human. Serena will always be a tennis player. She will always be one of the greatest of all times to all of us. It is who she is. It is a part of her. We just won't see her actively playing on the court. She will be on the sidelines. Motherhood is like that too, isn't it? Especially for full-time moms. There comes a time when our job, our current role as a mom, changes like that too. We aren't involved in the day-to-day activities anymore. And in this second season of life with adult children, we aren't in the game like we once were, doing those schedules and carpools, appointments, and attending performance and more. We will always be a mom. We will just now be on the sidelines. Like Serena, we will never really retire. Instead, like the word Serena has chosen, we evolve. Oh, I just love that word too. Because to evolve means to develop gradually, to come forth gradually into being. It means to emerge, grow, mature, study, mull over, and ponder. Isn't that beautiful? I have evolved a lot this year. I have grown. With all of the courses and the deep curiosities I've followed, I have found things that remind me who I am. I've made many new discoveries. I have learned so much about stepping forward with my life, what to hang on to, what to let go of, and how to step through uncomfortable things and take courageous action. What's next? Well, this week, what's next is boarding a plane headed for Austria, and I will have 11 hours to ponder. Austria has been on my bucket list since I was 16 years old. I grew up skiing and always wanted to go visit Austria because there were so many amazing downhill skiers that came from there. And then, of course, the beauty of the country itself and the sound of music, right? That's what comes to all of our minds. But also just the beauty of the people that live there and the culture. I'm excited to have a front row seat to what life is like in Austria and to broaden my horizons and my understanding and meeting new, wonderful people. Because again, we all have a story, and I can't wait to hear their life story and growing up in Austria, what it's been like. I think one of my favorite texts this week was from my son's future mother-in-law, and she said, "I can't wait to introduce you to Austria." That just gives me chills. What a precious invitation. So yes, I have a lot to ponder on this 11-hour flight. I will be thinking about where I've been, where I am now, and celebrating all that is ahead as I not only step forward and put one foot aboard this plane, but as I step forward and into a new season of my life. I celebrate my son and his beautiful bride. I celebrate the wonderful young man who has grown into someone I greatly respect. A man who honors and respects this beautiful woman he has chosen. And all of my kids are a part of the wedding party, with my youngest being his older brother's best man. So yes, my heart is full of joy, and I have a lot to ponder. And as I take time away here, I will return with a new perspective and passion for all that is ahead for Hello Redlow and the release of my book Step Forward next month. I too, like you, am evolving, growing, and stepping forward in a new season of my life and with Hello Redlow. In closing, I'd love to share a quote. It's an anonymous quote that says, "She knew this transition was not about becoming someone better, but about finally allowing herself to become who she'd always been. Just let that sit in your heart and soul for a moment and ponder that. Until we meet again next time, know that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, and you belong. And may you ponder your life and step forward with all that is ahead for you. God bless.